Hello guys, today our subject is about the Factories Act 1948. Factories Act is a welfare legislation for the protection of the workers. So, what are the objectives of the Act 1948? So, the Factories Act or the main objectives are protection of interest of workmen, providing better quality of work life for workers, regulation of condition of service, regulation for safety and health conditions, provision for registration, licensing and inspection of factories, providing provisions for welfare activities to be taken by the employer. And next, coming to the definition part, under section 2M, factory is defined as factory means any premises including the where on 10 or more workers are working in a place or in manufacturing process on any day of preceding 12 months and in any part of which a manufacturing process is being carried on with or without the aid of the power. And factory does not include a mine or a mobile unit or armed forces of the union, a running railways, shed or hotel, restaurant or eating places. So these are not included as in the definition of factory. Next, under section 2N, the definition is for occupier. Who is an occupier? Occupier of a factory means the person who has ultimate control over the affairs of the factory, such as manager, managing director or managing agent, etc. Next, under section 2K, manufacturing process. The term manufacturing process means making, altering, repairing, ornamenting, finishing, packing, oiling, casting, cleaning, breaking up, demolishing or otherwise treating or adopting any article or substance will be viewed to use, sale, transport, etc. Pumping oil, water, sewage or any other substances, or generating, transforming or transmitting power, or composing type of printing by letters, press, lithography, photography, etc. Construction, reconstruction, repairing, refitting, finishing or breaking up ships or vessels. Preserving or storing articles in cold storages, etc. or in the definition of manufacturing process. Next, section 2L, worker. Who is a worker? Worker means a person employed directly or by or through any agent with or without the knowledge of the employer, whether remuneration or not, in any manufacturing process. This is the definition part under section 2. Next, coming to the point, inspecting staff under section 8. Inspecting staff means the state government may by notification in the official gazette appoint inspector, chief inspector, deputy chief inspectors, joint chief inspectors, etc. under the purpose of this act. They will be appointed only if they possess the prescribed qualifications for the appointment. Next, under section 9, powers of inspectors. An inspector has so many powers within local limits for which he is appointed, and his powers are subject to any rules and regulations made under this act. That may as entry. He may enter any place which is used or which he has reason to believe is used as a factory. Next, examination. He can make examination of the premises, plant, machinery, article, substance, etc. Inquiry. He can inquire into any accident or dangerous occurrence, whether resulting in bodily injury, disability or not, and take on the spot of otherwise statements of any persons. Next, production of register and documents. He can ask production of any prescribed register or other documents related to the factories. Seizure. Inspector has power to seize or take copies of any register, record, document, etc., as he may consider necessary in respect of any offence under this Act. Next, directions. Inspectors can direct the occupier that any premises or anything lying therein shall be left undisputed for so long as is necessary for the purpose of any examination under this Act. Measurements and photographs. Inspector has power to take measurements and photographs and make such recordings as he considers necessary for any examination. Dismantle. In case of any article or substance found in any premises, being an article or substance which appear to him or having caused as is likely to cause danger to the health or safety of the workers, direct it to be dismantled. So, any dangerous substances must be dismantled by the direction of the inspectors, and other powers of the inspectors as follows. He can exercise any powers which may be prescribed under this Act, which is necessary for the workers. Next, under section 10, certifying surgeons. Who are certified surgeons? The state government may appoint qualified medical practitioners to be certifying surgeons for the purpose of the Act within the local limits of the factory. And section 10 class 4 deals with the duties of certifying surgeons. These surgeons have the duties to examine, and certification can be given by these certifying surgeons to the young persons under this Act. The examination of person engaged in factories in such dangerous occupation of process as may be prescribed. And he will examine cases of illness and exercising medical supervision among the workers. Next, by reason of any change in the manufacturing process, he can advise. Young persons who are about to be employed in any work which is likely to cause injury to their health, he will certify that. Under section 11 to 20 deals with health and cleanliness measures for the workers under the Factories Act 1948. Section 11, cleanliness. Every factory shall be kept clean from the dirt and effluents and phlegm. Under section 11 to 20 of Factories Act 1948 deals with health and cleanliness measures for the workers. So, under section 11, cleanliness. Every factory shall be kept clean, free of dirt, and refuse shall be removed daily by sweeping or other effective methods. The floor must be cleaned at least in a week by washing with disinfectant or by other effective methods. The walls must be whitewashed in every 14 months. The doors and windows frames must be kept painted once in 5 years. Next, under section 12, disposal of waste and effluents. So as to render under the section 12 of the Act provides that every factory must make effective arrangements for the treatments of waste and effluent resulting from the manufacturing process. State government may make rules prescribing arrangements to be made for the disposal of waste and effluents. Next, under section 13, ventilation and temperature. Section 13 provides that occupier of factory has to provide effective provisions in factory to secure and maintain in very work room and adequate ventilation by circulation of fresh air, which is comfortable to the workers for a healthy area. Next, under section 14, dust and fume. Section 14 of the Act provides that dust or fume or other impurity which is dangerous or offensive to the workers arising due to the manufacturing process must be diverted by effective measures so as to prevent these dust and fumes. Next, under section 15, artificial humidification. Section 15 of the Act provides that in such factories where humidity of air is artificially increased, for example in textile industries, cotton and cigarette factories, etc., it must be made strictly as per rules prescribed by the state government. Section 16, overcrowding. Section 16 of the Act prohibits overcrowding of workers so as to be injurious to their health only. That's why they have to prohibit this overcrowding. Section 17, lighting. Section 17 of the Act requires the maintenance of sufficient and suitable lighting, whether natural or artificial or both. Section 18, drinking water. Section 18 of the Act that the factories must provide pure drinking water to the workers for health and hygienic. And in every factory where more than 250 workers are ordinarily employed, provision should be made for cooling drinking water during the hot season, that is summer. Section 19, latrine and urinals must be provided in the factories for both men and women. Section 20, split-ends. Section 20 of the Act provides that every factory shall provide split-end facilities in convenient places in clean, hygienic conditions. Any worker who contravenes this can be punished with fine also. This is the part 1 of the Indian Factories Act 1948. Thanks for watching.
With